What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another MLB The Show 24 video, and we are going into Season 2, and that means you have some decisions to make at wildcard. Now, the wildcard system is pretty interesting. We had it last year, but this year it is a little bit different because going into the new season, you cannot use any of the cards from the prior season, and you will be completely reliant on wildcards to go in and use them. Also, as opposed to last year where we had one wild card, we are going to have up to 4, all of which you will unlock during the XP reward path just by playing the game. Make sure you check MLB The Show and fill out all of your head start program stuff, because that is how you're going to immediately unlock your first wild card spot, give you a big boost in the XP reward path. But with that all being said, today I'm going to talk about some of the cards that you should be looking at to potentially wildcard going into Season 2. Leave a comment down below which cards you expect to be wildcarding, and keep in mind they are fluid. You can change them at any point in time. So if you're struggling with the guy or you find the guy that fits that position, you can just easily swap it out any second, any minute that you choose. So let's get into some of the best cards to wildcard. Let's start the list with a card that will probably be the single most wildcarded card in the entire game coming into Season 2. 99 Jimmy Rollins, a switch hitting shortstop that plays amazing defense with a max arm, max stealing, and max speed. It's hard to find a card that I think more people are going to enjoy going into the new season, because shortstop is always difficult to fill. This is a 99 that does everything great right away. Personally, I'm not the biggest Jimmy Rollins fan. I do have him P3 and I have been using him. There's just other cards that I personally like more, but I completely understand this. Shortstop defense is probably the most important in the game outside of center field. And Jimmy just gives you a guy that you know is going to make the plays and going to provide a great switch hitting bat somewhere towards the top of the lineup. Next up, a card very similar to Jimmy, except just not as fast, but useful in the similar-ish ways. Jurickson Profar, another switch hitter, very similar hitter to Jimmy, besides the splits are reversed. And outside of just shortstop, this card plays every single position on the field besides catcher. And his flexibility and ability to play good defense at a majority of those positions, outside of probably shortstop, and even there, it's not that bad. This card is almost a must just because no matter what team you're fielding and whatever cards we get on release day of Season 2, this card will have a spot on your field because he can play pretty much everywhere. If you use them too, his swing is amazing, the card stats are great, and I mean, there's not many more valuable cards in this entire game than this Profar. Another card similar to Profar, Eduardo Escobar, obviously way less positions he can play with only third, second, and shortstop, but really similar. Great hitting stats, actually better hitting stats than the other two switch hitters. This guy's going to lock down any of the positions you put him in the infield. Even shortstop early game will be completely fine. And again, similar stuff, so if you want a better bat than the last two guys at an infield spot, Eduardo's your guy. A theme here is switch hitters are definitely going to be really nice because we don't know what the meta is going to be. Another switch hitter, Ketel Marte. This one is a little bit expensive. If you didn't get him in one of your no-sell packs while doing the Byron Buxton season-ending program, you might have to go spend him. He's about 100K, so I don't think that's worth it, but if you did get him as a no-sell or did buy him already, this card is an unbelievable card to have day one because he is completely maxed out versus lefties. Great defense at every position. Good enough speed. Again, second base, shortstop, and the entire outfield. He's good enough in left and right field. He could really play a center field, although I wouldn't personally. He could definitely do it, and he'd play pretty fine out there, especially with how the options in the outfield are probably going to look on the release of Season 2. Very much like Profar, just a better hitter and not free. So, free version of Ketel is Profar. If you have Ketel, he's probably better. Last switch hitter, I promise, is going to be Jorge Posada. This card was super expensive. He's dropping now. He's about 45 to 40K, and you can get him for free just by beating your ranked program and finishing out all the challenges in that. This card is easily the best contact hitter in the entire game, with maxed out contact versus both sides and max clutch at P5, obviously, but 120 clutch, 90 plus power versus both, a great switch hitting swing. If you use this gold card, you know. Great defense at catcher, and he plays a really solid first base also if you like your catcher for whatever reason. a lot of hitting quirks. This is probably the singular best card on this entire list, if you're asking me, and I think this is one of the best cards in the game. The fact that you can get him for free by beating your ranked program is awesome, and he's pretty cheap if you don't want to play ranked and you're unmotivated going into season 2. To me, this is the singular best option. You're probably tired of the switch hitters, so we'll move away from them for a little bit. This 99 Byron Buxton, I don't think he's a great card for season 1 when he came out. He's pretty much the last card to drop in season 1. The contacts are a little bit low. Obviously, the low vision is not ideal for the 99 pitchers that we have in the game right now, but this card on release will be a max fielder with max speed, really good stealing, great power, and way better contacts than most of the cards we're going to have on day 1. This will easily be the best fielding outfielder in the entire game, other than Willie Mays, and he has a much better swing than Willie Mays, if you're asking me, or pretty much anybody else. So I actually really like this Buxton as a great option for a wild card if you want to lock down some defense with great power and take advantage of the low per 9 pitchers that you're going to be facing. Next, we got Brad Miller. If you're asking me to guess what next season is going to bring, is a much more right-handed dominant pitching meta. This season, we got a lot of great lefties. We had Randy Johnson and John Donaldson early. Then we got Andy Pettitte, CC Sabathia, Tom Glavine, Cliff Lee were all later in the program in the season, and they were great. And even that Noah Schultz in the middle of it. A lot of great lefties, and they dominated the meta. So Brad Miller kind of struggled to find a spot, even though his swing is fantastic. I feel like righties are going to be more dominant, and if they are, Brad Miller has the same type of stuff that I said about Jurickson Profar, except he's just a pure left-handed hitter with an unbelievable swing that mashes right-handed pitching. I mean, this card, 111, 125 at P2 is unbelievable. He's a good enough fielder pretty much everywhere, too. The only position I probably wouldn't play him at is his primary and center field. So shortstop and center, I think every other spot he plays perfectly fine over there. This could be another great option, much like Profar, where if you want to just have a lefty that has an unbelievable swing, he's also free. Next up, I'm showing Andy Pettitte because this is really a general statement for any pitchers. I don't think pitchers are worth a wild card spot when you only have one. However, once we get to multiple wild card spots and you're able to get 2, 3, 4 of them, it might begin to be worth it to use a pitcher that you're really comfortable with. Finding pitchers you're comfortable with and feel confident throwing in ranked is not always something that you can find, and you'll be way above the hitting curve if you're throwing a 99 starter, say, in the middle of season 2. So I don't think it's the best use of a wild card. However, once you get multiple of them and you're not upset about losing one of those as a hitter, I really don't think this is a bad option to use Andy or CC or Randy Johnson or whoever it is, Paul Skeens, whoever that you want to use as a starter. I don't think it's the worst option ever. And the last card that I think you guys should wild card is your favorite card. It doesn't matter really who it is. If it's a card that you like, a player that you like in real life, whether he's a 99, an 89, a 95, it doesn't necessarily matter. If it's a card that has a diamond that you don't think is going to get one on release, go ahead and wildcard him. Have some fun. That's what this game is all about. I know you want to be competitive, but when a season restarts, pitchers won't be as good. So whoever you're wildcarding will probably be viable as long as he's not like that random Captain Ozzie Smith, because that card is horrible. I'm going to wind up as my second, maybe first wildcard using this 99 Judge. Is he really a super valuable wildcard? It's up for interpretation. He's not a great defender because of his speed. However, I like Aaron Judge cards. I'm hitting pretty okay with him, and he's my favorite player in Major League Baseball. So him having a 99 that I did wind up paying 100K stubs for feels like something that I'm going to use. And yeah, I like Judge. So use your favorite guys. I mean, you can always change it. If you're struggling, move it to a more meta guy, I promise. And that's gonna wrap up the video, guys. I hope this maybe helped you try and figure out some cards that you should look towards going into season 2 as your wild card. Again, you can change it at any point in time and you'll earn more wild cards as you go through the XP reward paths. Hopefully you're having a little bit of fun still with the game. Hopefully season 2 brings a little bit of a recharge and they change a lot of the stuff that was wrong with season 1. I'll be talking about what was wrong with season 1 in the next video coming out later this week and how I hope they change it for season 2. So keep an eye out on that. Make sure you like and subscribe down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.